Alright, in this video we're going to try to finish up at least a working version of our app. Of course there could be a lot of polish to be done after it, like picking icons and background images and all kinds of things. But after this video we should have just a working initial version of our app. So in the first video we used the Xcode's interface builder tool to lay out our view objects. In the second video, we added connections between our controller and our view objects so that when the view objects were interacted with, they would inform the controller through an action, and the controller could talk to the view objects through a connection. And we're going to make use of that in our app. In the third video we actually created our model object. We created a class for picking our lucky numbers, and we create one singleton instance of it when the controller is loaded out of the nib file. So now we're going to kind of bring everything together and try to keep our model and our view in sync and take care of everything we need to get a basic working app running. All right, so back in Interface Builder. So here I'm in my view controller. So now when we run our app right out of the chute, so we're going to want to make sure that our buttons are set with the current 6 lucky numbers. So right now our buttons simply have the titles for the 6 values that we gave them in Interface Builder. So we're going to want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a method that sets the numbers on the button. So I'm going to give it a name, something clever like set all buttons, something like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to loop through all 6 buttons here, and I'm going to go ahead and query the model. So first step is I got to go query the model and see what the lucky number is for each button. So I'm going to call my lucky numbers, and I'm going to call my number method I, and that'll be the lucky number for the ith button. And remember, I need to be able to find the corresponding button, so I'm going to do this by its tag. We set for our 6 buttons, we actually have 6 tags that numbered 1 through 6, but our index is between 0 and 5. So I'm basically going to take my index and add 1 to it for the tag. So then I'm going to go ahead and fetch the button. So I know that they're actually subviews of my button stack view. So I'm going to go ahead, and that's why I made an outlet to my button stack view so that I could get each of my views. So I'm going to get the view for, let's see, I'm doing something wrong here for buttons. So view with tag, that's the ticket. So there's the tag. Now that's, a button is a view. I really want to downcast it to a button, and I know it's a button, so I'm going to go ahead and force unwrap it, the downcast, as a button. All right, so that's going to go ahead and grab my button. Then now I'm going to go ahead and set the title of that button. So I'm going to say set title, and the title I'm going to just set it to whatever my lucky number is, right? And it's going to be for, oops, I got the quote in the wrong place here. Go back, and for the normal state. So buttons have a normal and a highlighted state. I'm just going to do for a normal state. All right. And I forgot parentheses. Here we go. All right. So okay. So what I'm going to do right out of the chute is I'm going to now notice also that I set the maximum value to 49, which means that my segmented index, the first segmented index, better be selected. But I also have an outlet for that. So I'm going to say max segmented control dot selected segment index is equal to 0. So this has 2 indexes, 0 and 1. I want to make sure the first index is the one that's selected. And then I'm going to go ahead and call my set all buttons. All right, so let's go ahead and run this code and see what we have now. So I'm going to go ahead and build, and it should be when it comes up. Oh, we got max control. Ooh, add instruction. Nil while unwrapping an optional value. Weak segmented control. Aha. Well, that's a little bit of a problem. Well, get a chance to do a little bit of debugging right in the middle of making a video. That's always great. So max value, segmented control, unexpected value nil, found unwrapping an optional value. Oh, that's because I did this in the wrong place. Obviously that doesn't exist yet. I meant to do this in my viewDidLoad method, which explains, which is worth explaining now. By the way, the init, so that's actually going to decode the UI, the view controller out of the nib file, out of the storyboard, but the actual values aren't ready to be configured yet, just when it's initialized. I have to wait until the view for that view controller actually gets loaded and put on screen. So by the time it's actually loaded, then I can go ahead and set those values. So so the template that Xcode created for me automatically created a method called viewDidLoad. So yeah, so that's where I need to do that. So they even have a nice little comment, do an additional setup after loading the view, typically from a nib. That's exactly what we did. So all right, so we're gonna wait until the view is actually loaded, then set its selected index, and then set all the buttons. All right, great. Like to have bugs right in the middle of shooting a video. All right, awesome. All right, hey, look at that, awesome. We've got 6 lucky numbers, of course, right out of the chute. So let's work on, let's see. All right, so let's stop that. And what should we work on next? Let's work on picking an individual number. All right, so with our tag. So this action is going to get fired whenever the user taps on one of our six buttons. So what I'm going to do in this particular case is, all right, so we already know what the tag is. So I'm going to go ahead and let the index equal to tag -1. All right, so my tags are numbers from 1 to 6. My indices are between 0 and 5. So there's always this off by 1 thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and find the number associated with that particular lucky number. So I'm going to go ahead and query my model object, which is called lucky numbers. And I'm going to get the number for the index. All right. So that's going to get our lucky number. Then I'm going to go ahead. Now I need to go find the, so we've picked the number, and so I already have the button is the sender, so I can just right away say, actually I don't even need the tag at all, do I here? So I can just say set title, and the title I'm going to use the the number, if I can type, and for state dot normal. All right, so that should be all I need to know there. Yeah, so I got the index. So that should, so whatever button presses, I'm going to go ahead and set its title back. So let's go ahead and rerun this and see if this works. All right, so every time I pick a number, tag 2, it's not changing it. All right, what am I doing wrong here? So pick number, and I'm saying sender set title for state normal. Yeah, I'm just grabbing the old number. I need to actually pick a new number. So I actually need to say, I did that wrong. I need to say pick a number and pass it the index. All right, sorry. Yeah, I actually have to pick a new number. Pick a new number. All right, let's try that again. We'll get it right this time. All right, so, okay, awesome. So now you can see that we're picking a new number. So every time we click on it. So, all right, okay, so sorry for the confusion there. So let's go ahead and let's work on the pick all button. So when the user hit the pick all button, we're going to pick a whole new 6 set of lucky numbers. So what I'm going to do in this particular case is I'm just simply going to call my model object lucky numbers and pick the pick all method. So I'm going to have the model create 6 new lucky numbers, and then I'm going to go ahead and update the view with set all buttons, and that should be all I need to do there. So let's go ahead and run. And now Aha, look at that. So we hit the pick button, all 6 new numbers are picked. Excellent. So the only thing left is to deal with our segment of control. So whenever the segment of control, we need to inform the model that a new value has been selected and pick, right? And then update our 6 lucky numbers because it will pick 6 new lucky numbers. All right. So that's in our max value selected. Right. So this action is going to get triggered whenever the user selects a different max value with our segmented control. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've already got the selected index. So all I'm going to do here is lucky numbers is I'm going to set the max value property is if index is equal to 0, then I'm going to set it back to 49. Otherwise, I'm going to set it to 56 based on the index, and then I'm just going to call my pick all, and I'm just going to pass myself as the solid. So, all right. So, and remember how we set up our model. If you looked at our model, we know that whenever the max value property gets changed, it's automatically going to trigger a pick all on the lucky numbers. So we know that's automatically going to happen. So right. So let's see how that actually works. Let's give that a build. All right. All right, so we go to 56. So now as I pick numbers, I should get numbers bigger. Yeah, so I'm getting numbers between greater than 49. If I go back to 49, you can see that as I pick numbers, all my numbers are between 1 and 49. So hopefully all is well. Look, we can rotate left, pick new numbers. All right, great. Hardware, rotate right again. All right, excellent, excellent. So really now we've got a pretty fully functional app. You know, there's some small things that we can do. I'm going to go ahead and you'll notice in my other app, well, I had nice rounded buttons. Well, could we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's make these buttons kind of rounded. There's all, you know, we could do a lot of work to make this app look a lot slicker. Of course, we're going to want to create icons and all kinds of, and we're going to want to add some persistent data store, and that's kind of stuff that we'll kind of work on later. So for now, since I got a little bit of time, what I'm going to go to do is just make these buttons rounded, since that's kind of an easy enough thing to do it. I'm going to do that on view did load. In fact, let me do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through. I'm going to go through all the buttons. I'm going to go through all my tags. So I'm going to look through all the tags. Go ahead and grab each button with that tag. And as we'll talk about later, each UI view is backed by a core animation layer, and I can actually, which is just a bitmap image, and I can actually access that layer. And let's see, I want to say, let's see, radius. No, what is it? Radius, button radius. Oh boy, this is a great time to call up Google real quick. Set UI view rounded corners. Aha. And oh, there it is. And corner radius. That's the ticket. In fact, I'm just going to copy that whole puppy right in there. And corner radius. And I'm going to set the corner radius to say 12. And it's actually not view, it's button. So it's really nice to have Google open and Stack Overflow to find all kinds of little details like this. So this will actually, you'll see sort of the effect here. This should be yes, this should be, I'm in Swift now, so this should be true. Looks like I copied Objective-C code. All right, so there's some appropriate Swift code to do the same thing. And now enough, aha, look, our buttons are rounded, right? And so we can rotate left and we can rotate right. All right, great. So it looks like we have a fully functioning app. There would be a lot more work to do to get this app published, but at least now you've seen kind of the whole flow of how this works, and you'll get an idea of how to create an app from kind of beginning to end, a very simple app. All right, that's it for now.